Hi, this is Rachel, and I needed to talk about something to INFJs in general, but also the INFJ Tribe group that Aaron runs. You can either get a hold of me or another woman who is an INFJ. Her channel is Rejoice, REJOYCE. She can also get you in contact, and you can find out the channels that are on this INFJ group list, because there's already a list of INFJ channels where we're keeping in contact and supporting each other. But I have to bring something up, and I hope I don't upset people, but I just want to put some suggestions out there for people who are meeting other INFJs and having issues getting their point across or getting along. So INFJs are pretty much stuck in how they feel and the way they think. So when we meet somebody else who, has a strong personality, it's easy to butt heads. It doesn't mean anybody's right, and it doesn't mean anything about anybody else. When we start butting heads is when we're going to notice the negative stuff about the other person, and or look for something, because when people are fighting and the person you're having a problem with is a good person, sometimes we can make a monster out of them. So we justify why we're upset with them when it could just be a misunderstanding. And I'm not saying that any of this happened with anybody. I'm just bringing up something because I see it as something that needs to be addressed so that nobody loses any members or communication between each other, because this is kind of new and it's a big deal. This is a big thing, meeting each other. A lot of us don't get to meet each other in person, or haven't, or won't be able to. We won't be able to see their facial expressions or hear their tone of voice. There are things we won't see, where they're at. Are they tired? Have they eaten? Is something going on in their life? So when it comes to online contact, when you get to a point where you feel like you're not agreeing with the other person, for an INFJ, you got to get out of your thinking mode, your internal thinking mode, and start talking. Because when you can't see the other person and you can't hear them, you don't know where they're coming from. They might have had a bad week. If you can't have all that available to evaluate and judge, which is what an INFJ does, well, first of all, sometimes when we're upset or frustrated or misunderstood, our intuition can lead us wrong, and or we can mistaken our emotions for intuition. Emotions come on really, really strong. So, and then you got to work through it somehow. So, to stop thinking so much is when you're thinking a lot and you're a person that evaluates stuff and you're a person that makes judgment calls, and a person that has intuition, when you're in the thinking mode with a disagreement, or a misunderstanding, it's more likely you're going to assume what the other person is thinking or feeling. And that's not fair, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, work on not doing that part. And the talking more is practicing being extroverted. It's also practicing good communication skills. It's practicing your boundaries. And it's allowing the other person to know the things they can't see. So it's allowing them to know what your face might look like or your voice might sound like. and they will know through how you're getting the message across. So it's important, if you're the person that somebody's having a problem with, to understand that, you know, if you don't understand where it's coming from, it's a misunderstanding, and it can be worked through, and it should be, because it's important for us to stay with each other, whether we get along or not, because there's other people in the group you can talk to, and there's no reason to turn each other away or get turned away just because somebody else has a strong personality. Not every INFJ has gone through or thinks the way that I do. So, you know, I don't have that expectation. But I'm going to be supportive and be there. And even if an INFJ has a problem with me or needs to talk or anything like that, I'm still going to be their friend. We still have a lot in common. We're still part of the group, you know, so it's part of being united, you know, for better or worse. You know, we don't have to marry each other to make that vow or commitment, you know. So I think what's hard is that INFJ already feels misunderstood, and how horrible it is to meet a wonderful INFJ, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's a communication problem, a misunderstanding. You already feel misunderstood by the world. You know, that's really hard to deal with. You know, but at the same time, you already know it's a misunderstanding, and that gets you halfway through it. You know? And if people are gonna disagree with each other, and if they're gonna come to me and speak with me or anything, I'm not going to tell one they shouldn't talk to the other one. You know, I'm not going to do that. And I hope that somebody would never do that with me. You know, I want to be in contact and be open. So, thinking less and talking more, especially when you can't see and hear their voice and know if, I mean, they could have just had like a slip and fall at the store. They didn't eat all day, and then you guys are having a misunderstanding. Sometimes conflict resolution is to step back and walk away. So that means you could take a day to respond to the email, and or take a break. Calm down, because you don't want to be upset with yourself if anything's done out of a strong emotion, and you're like, wow, if I would have been, you know, in a better position or a better mood, I would have responded different and things would be really different. So, you know, disagreements are going to happen. You don't need to leave the group. You don't need to stop talking to the other person. You can always take a break, and you can always think about it with your intuition later when the emotion's not so strong and in the way. So I just hope that everybody can get along and or use some of these suggestions to work on, you know, getting along with people with strong personalities. And from what I'm seeing from this group, you know, there's no reason to be envious or jealous or feel anything about anybody, because everybody, the channel list, everybody that I've seen is completely different. Like, I'm not talking about the INFJ part. I'm talking about their life, how they share it. You know, some might talk about INFJ topics. Somebody might be living their day-to-day life on it. Somebody might be making artistic videos. Somebody might not even be part of the channel list, and they got poetry websites and all kinds of stuff. And I've seen these things. So, you know, we need to stay united. And there's a lot of INFJs that are religious in a way that I can't relate. But I'm still talking to them, and I still love them as a person. And I hope they love me too. Because I can't relate to it. You know what I'm saying? So there's barriers, but it's okay. And the most important thing is to work on getting along. That's the most important thing. So I'm not going to stop talking to anybody or anything because other people aren't getting along. And if I'm having an issue or someone's having an issue with me, let's stop thinking so much and talk more. That's what I think is the best thing. So I hope nobody gets mad or offended or thinks that I'm talking about anybody specific. I don't know who's talking to who. You know what I'm saying? And if I get emails, that's just between me and them anyway, besides the communication on my channel. So anyway, thank you so much, and I'm glad I got to say this. Bye.